We would like to call upon our next speaker, Mr. Andy Chatha, President of and CEO of ARC Advisory Group, to give a presentation on transformational technologies, cloud computing. Andy provides leadership to the ARC organization and guides its research and client activities. For over 25 years, Andy has provided advice and consultant to many leading manufacturing companies around the world. Andy has over 35 years experience in enterprise applications and automation as an executive, advisor, market analyst, project manager, and software engineer. So I would request him to come on the stage.
I could not have asked for any better presentation right before mine. Actually, I want to thank Mr. Prabhu, really explaining cloud computing probably much better than I could do. So thank you, Mr. Prabhu. Now, hopefully, I can relate cloud computing to our plants. That's what actually I'm going to try to do. Also, let me try to simplify cloud computing a little bit, those of you who are not that familiar with it. When you look, first of all, your cell phone. When you make a call on the cell phone, just think what happens. There is somewhere out there are some computers who are taking your call and routing to the person you are calling. In fact, that is cloud computing. Another way to look at cloud computing is your data center in the plants, your server room, your control room. That is a private cloud. Now, I would say the cell phones really started this big transformation here in Asia, decade or two, 15 years ago, and so forth. In my view, cloud computing is the next technology that will, again, gives you the opportunity to leapfrog. Because a lot of you folks do not have large data centers already, like companies perhaps in the US or Europe do. And you have an opportunity to directly move to the cloud. So I think in my view, this is a very, very important technology, and we want to here see how you can benefit from this technology. Let me see if I can. Okay, let's see. Could you next slide, please? Let's see. Okay. Let's take a look at in the plants, your key plant assets. Certainly your people. They are your most valuable asset. And you have, I'm saying things, plant equipment. That's another, big asset. You have invested a lot of money. You have information about those assets. And you have systems, control systems, your ERP systems, and so forth. So those are the key assets that you have in your plants. And I will be talking more about actually how you can improve each of these assets. But today, I want to focus on cloud computing. And again, how you can use cloud computing to benefit you and your plants. I know I have a few slides. I'm just going to go over quickly, what it is actually. Again, I want to thank Mr. Prabhu actually helping us with all of this. Now, like Mr. Prabhu said, there is a private cloud, public cloud, and you can have hybrid. Most of the, for manufacturing companies, you, in most cases, want to go with private cloud. You are, in essence, what you are doing is you have a control room in your plants. Clearly, anything that has to do something with controlling your plant, that has to stay in the plant. But everything above control, everything that's not connected to the plant in some way, you have a lot of applications, they can all move to the cloud. And in most cases, for the big companies, you will actually move them to the to the cloud. Whereas some of the small companies and some of the non-critical applications, in some cases, you may use public cloud. Yeah. And let's, for example, all of you have a lot of historical data, tons of historical data. In fact, manufacturing companies have probably more data than anybody else. Just imagine if you could move historical data to the cloud. See, right now, number one thing, in fact, we are talking about, and we heard from the earlier presentations, our systems are getting very complex. And number two, they are very difficult to maintain and upgrade. Now, you move your historical data to the cloud, and it can simplify your plant and IT infrastructure tremendously, because most of you have very, very difficult time trying to maintain these systems. And in fact, you know, what you really want to do, you want to work with a partner, you know, maybe a company in the next room, who can help you move your historical data from your plant to the cloud. And in fact, you can do the same from all of your plants. I know many of you have many plants around the country. Just think if you moved all the historical data, because there is no reason for the historical data to be in the plant. It can all move to the cloud. And if you move historical data from all the plants to the cloud, and in the data center, you have experts who really know how to manage and analyze the historical data. They will do that much, much easier than actually people at the plant. In most cases, almost every case, you know, we are finding that, you know, we have a lot of data, but we don't know what to do with it. In fact, most of the historical data in every plant just sits there because you don't know what to do with it. You don't have the people. You don't have the tools to analyze that data. So, and we will talk more about how you can actually analyze data too, but the same way, just like you move historical data, personally today, our ARC advice to every company is, do not buy historical data, do not buy an MES system, do not buy an asset management system, do not buy an optimization system, any application that's non-critical to put in the plant. So we will talk more about this over the next couple of days and what the benefits are and how you can actually work with these. Again, I don't want to spend much time here. There is a different levels, but all you should think about is, in your case, in most cases, you're really thinking about the application. You're looking at software as a service. And again, for example, I would give you a simple example again. If I asked you, you can buy this phone for 1 crore, or you can pay me maybe 2,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees a month. You know what everybody does. You know, it doesn't make sense for anybody to buy software today. You want to buy on a monthly basis for what you use. So I tell you, all of you today can afford cloud. You can't afford to buy all of you expensive software, but you can, just like you can afford a phone, you can afford an MES system, you can afford historical data, you can afford asset management system, you can afford everything. And that's how you can leapfrog other companies around the world. Again, actually, there is a little more information. I'm going to just skip because there is a lot of things actually we can talk about, and we can have time to discuss how you can actually benefit. Right now, the biggest problem, in my view, is that there are not enough companies who are offering cloud solutions for you to buy. Unfortunately, most of you are working with the automation companies. Automation companies themselves are a little bit behind the curve here. They are themselves now, actually, some of them are starting to come up with applications for you to buy. Obviously, like Mr. Prabhu mentioned that, now you can buy ERP system. Certainly, if any of you are buying, there's no reason for you to buy ERP system for your plant. You can buy ERP system. And there are companies out there, you can buy MES system in the cloud and so forth. And we will see many more companies start to offer cloud applications. Now, what are the benefits? The benefits, obviously, right away, for some of you, you implement MES system or asset management system, it may take a year to implement in a plant. Now, if a company offers an asset management system or an MES system in the cloud, I tell you, they already have it working. They can get it working within a couple of weeks or a month. And I know many companies, they implement MES system, asset management system in one plant. It takes them a year. Then they go to the next plant, implement it, takes them a year. It can take you years. Whereas, if you implement it in the cloud, you can do it much, much quicker. And you can already benefit from the best practices. In fact, the providers of these solutions, they have expertise. They can do it much better than I know most of you don't have enough expertise in some of these solutions. Now, as I mentioned, you pay as you go. You don't have to buy it up front. And we talked about also the new technology. We heard, new technology is, moving so fast. And some of you have to upgrade the system in 5 years or just even a few years. This way, the responsibility, right now what happens with the phone company, phone companies upgrading their servers probably very, very quickly. If when new technology comes, it's their responsibility. Same is true here. When you buy an application in the cloud, your provider. That's why, in fact, in many cases, you want to go with established companies who are constantly upgrading their infrastructure. When technology changes, when the hardware changes, they will have to upgrade the hardware. Software changes, they will have to upgrade the software. In fact, you want to start operating your plant systems, they have to become easier. This is how you can make them easier for yourself. Because if something goes down, it's not you who has to get up in the middle of the night and go to the plant and figure out, how to fix the problem. Because we will talk about this thing, these companies, how often your phone goes down. If you're using Google email, how often that goes down. These companies, they manage. You can think about, in fact, I think of the cloud very similar to a power plant. Just like a power plant supplies power to your power network, in fact, data centers are supplying power to the internet. And in my view, there is a very good analogy. Same thing, if something goes around, the provider has to worry about fixing it. And they have the people who know how to fix it, whereas you don't in most cases. Standard system versus custom solution. I know many of you have spent millions of dollars buying software, then trying to customize it to your needs. You don't want to do that. You know, custom software is the thing of the past. Don't think your needs are unique. In fact, the solutions that are available out there, they can do more than you can think of. You absolutely do not want to develop custom software. Doesn't matter what your need is. I think there is a solution out there that can meet your needs. And in fact, if you really have such unique needs, I think you are behind the curve. If you are trying to do things in a unique way, in my view, you are behind. There are a lot of best practices out there. There are a lot, and especially for India, you want to learn from the rest of the world. So there is a great opportunity for you to leapfrog going with standard systems. You know, obviously, you don't need IT people. I tell you, there is no way, no companies, you know, right now, because IT people, they want to be with other IT people, lots of other IT people. You know, there is no way you can actually hire and keep IT people. Always, as I mentioned, latest solutions available to you, and that's what you have to do in the future. So there is a lot of benefits. Yes, there are, some of you have questions. Question was asked before. What do you do about the security? I will guarantee you, most of your solutions, you cannot keep your plants secure today. You don't have the expertise. In fact, most companies do not have the expertise. In the US, all the suppliers, in fact, most of the suppliers, they depend on US government to develop, because when somebody comes up with the latest virus or something, in fact, most of the research done in the is the US government. And all the suppliers, or maybe some of the major companies, they all look to them. There are secure solutions available. In fact, cloud can be more secure than your plants. Availability. I tell you again, cloud is more available. Providers can give you better availability. They can sign the contract. You sign with Google or whatever, your phone company, they guarantee you can have 99.9 availability. Performance, the same thing. I don't think you can keep up. You can actually match anywhere with the performance of the cloud. Interoperability, you know, obviously, technology is advancing. Most things are becoming actually the providers. They will provide you the interoperability. You know, obviously, some people think, you know, like control systems. Oh, you get trapped. But again, there are opportunities you can actually, as this industry is growing, you will be able to do the same kind of thing. You know, if this provider is not giving you good service, and not giving you actually taking care of you, you can, just like the phone, you can switch. You will be able to switch. Certainly, it won't be as easier as you can switch the phone, but you can switch. So there are risks, but I think you are taking more risk by not going to the cloud. Again, where is the cloud coming? Obviously, some of you have seen our supply chain diagrams. You know, both engineering, cloud is everywhere in operations and engineering. You know, most of you folks are from operations or engineering. I think both of those actually areas you can move many of your applications to the cloud. The same thing, engineering and operations. Now, in ARC view, we think in the plants, yes, you cannot move the basic control, the equipment that is connected to the plant, devices, field devices, sensors, and so forth. Keep the basic controls in the plant and move everything above that. including historical data, to the cloud as fast as you can, in our view. And obviously, we can have more discussion about it, but we think cloud makes a lot of sense. Again, I think you have seen sometimes the 3-layer platform architecture. You have at the top, obviously, ERP systems and so forth, and you have engineering systems, where you design projects and build new plants, and you have the operations, your plant operations and so forth. So we think you can have separate clouds, It don't have to be, you can have many clouds, even plant operations. You can have actually several clouds. For plant asset management cloud or maybe MES cloud, you can have separate clouds. But you have to think about the kind of architecture. Obviously, there are issues you have to think through, how you're going to move to the cloud. In my view, I think this topic would be a great topic for you to have discussion with some companies next door. And in fact, when you go back, in my view, you should start some initiatives, because this is a new technology and you really have to learn about it. You have to educate your people about it. So in my view, what you could do, talk to a company. And you need help of some companies. And again, opportunity that you have, I think it's a tremendous opportunity because you have a lot of IT help here. You have a lot of IT companies, a lot of IT professionals here who can help you with this move. So my suggestion is, when you go back, talk to a partner and set up a beta, set up a test platform. Give this company a small piece of historical data. Say, okay, we'd like you to set up a cloud environment for us with this data, and then play around with it. Learn about it. Educate your people about it. You can have, obviously, if you have the plants, many different places. You can have cloud, different regions and so forth. Obviously, right now, in my view, for you guys, it makes perfect sense to go to the cloud, move the data to somewhere in Malaysia or Singapore or something where they have a very secure source of power. Right now, just think, you don't have to worry about, the power. That's a challenge. Your system probably goes down or something. In many cases, you are investing, you're spending a lot of money and having your own power sources at the plant because you can't go down. So I think here you have extra benefits actually, moving to the cloud to a place where there is they have a secure source of power. Again, let me see. As I mentioned earlier, the line where you want to move up is the control, critical control. Leave that in the plant, move everything else to the cloud. Again, I think as Mr. Prabhu pointed out, cloud is not a new, as I just explained to you, all cell phones. They've been running in the cloud. So it's been around. Many companies have been offering ERP in the cloud for many years. Those of you who know right now, today, if CRM system, if generally a lot of companies are using CRM in the cloud, and obviously SAP, Oracle, they now offer ERP in the cloud, and you can have some of that stuff. So it's cloud, Google, Amazon, they've been using cloud for, more than a decade. So it's a fairly established technology. It's not that new. And right now, I tell you, those companies, they can't build data centers fast enough. There is so much demand for it. Again, obviously, I think Mr. Prabhu, he had a big list. There are some more. So, the big companies right now, this business right now is growing like hotcakes. These companies can't build data centers fast enough because there is so much demand. Companies are trying to, move to the cloud. Okay, in summary, in our view, cloud is coming to the plant. I think you need to, when you go back, start an initiative where you can start working with a partner, have a partner set up a beta for you, start playing around with it, start learning about it. So do that, and obviously you need to come up with this strategy. I think this is a great place over the next couple of days for you to talk to, the companies next door or each other, talk to other people, and educate yourself about the cloud. And certainly, I think companies next door, your suppliers, your partners can help. And we would be happy to actually answer any questions, have discussions with you further about specific your issues. But I think this is the number one thing that you want to take back home with you. Thank you. You can start the panel
Any
discussion.
questions?
Yeah. Panel discussion. Panel discussion. Yeah. No, panel. Okay. Yeah. Let's invite Mr. Prabhu and other speakers to the podium here. And then I think we can all try to answer questions. And also, by the way, I think we have time